Trailblazers have gathered in Singapore to discuss the crossroads of technology, digital economy, and social dynamics. At the ATX Summit this year, the focus is also on Singapore and its role in the global AI ecosystem. Sarah Alcaldi is live at the event to tell us more. Sarah, what's the latest?
Yeah, so Singapore is definitely working to drive innovation, but to do so responsibly. And to talk more about this, we're joined by Minister Josephine Teo. She's Singapore's Minister for Digital Development and Information, as well as Minister in charge of Smart Nation and Cybersecurity. Thanks so much for your time today, Minister.
Good morning, Sarah.
Yeah, I want to start with the macro environment.
Sure.
It's definitely a tense geopolitical environment right now. And tech is also becoming a space where there is intense competition among major players. So how does Singapore plan to navigate all this?
I think it is prominent in people's minds what has happened to physical trade through the imposition of tariffs by many different countries, and how it is causing a huge reshuffling of the cards. And very naturally, the question becomes, will geopolitical contestation, where technology is concerned, also create binding constraints for each of us? At the moment, I would say it hasn't reached that stage, and we don't want it to get anywhere near there. So within the room that is available for maneuvering, I think there is still many opportunities for us to push AI adoption, to push AI innovation. Of course, we do so whilst also thinking about AI safety and AI governance. But the momentum for AI innovation and adoption, the emergence of many more use cases across different settings, whether it is in industry or whether within government even, this is showing themselves to be resilient and also backed up by very real benefits that are being observed on the ground. I shared some of this when I delivered my speech this morning. We see productivity gains in commercial settings, but at the same time, because Singapore has always believed that we also want to use AI for the public good, we see experimentation that can create outsized benefits. For example, in healthcare, not just helping doctors to reduce the burden of fulfilling administrative tasks, but really in personalized medicine, whether treatment plans for patients can be customized to such an extent that they don't need to over-medicate, and that the consequences of excessive dosages is much better managed. Yeah. So that is one of the areas. I think in terms of also improving environmental sustainability, there is so much scope for AI to be deployed. So to cut a long story short, I think the momentum is still taking off in a very healthy way. The innovations are coming, and at the moment, this geopolitical contestation isn't a binding constraint.
Yeah. And with the momentum picking up here in Singapore and beyond, there are definitely threats. Threats are still there. You know, we're talking about cyber attacks, misinformation, even biases. How can AI become a safe space while ensuring that regulation does not limit innovation?
Yes. A blunderbuss approach to thinking about AI risks will not serve our interests very well. We have to look at how the AI is being used and what the specific risks are related to that use. So for example, if AI is used to generate content, to shape people's views in an election, then what you want is specific targeted measures to deal with that. But if the AI is used to generate content that is used for entertainment, that is generally not harmful, that doesn't create, misunderstanding for children, there is very little reason to say that you want to regulate it at the outset.
Yeah.
So in our context, the approach is risk-based, but it is also intended to be more sectoral and targeted. Will a time come for us to have more omnibus kind of legislation and regulation? it's a little too early to say. I would also add that some of the risks that people are concerned about, for example, could it be used in a biased manner for recruitment and affect people's employability? There are other kinds of legislation that will deal with the risks that are present even without AI. So, for example, in Singapore, there is the workplace fairness legislation that was passed not so long ago. So we will take a nuanced approach, but we will also take a robust approach. When it's clear what the risks are, and it's also clear what are the ways in which we can deal with those risks, we can move forward in a determined and robust manner and not take too long. But for that to happen, safety research is essential. And that's what we are putting our efforts towards, and not just within Singapore, but working with our partners around the world.
Yeah, and we can't talk about AI without touching on the impact on people and their livelihoods and their jobs. What would be one quick advice you would give to people who are watching the AI space and wondering, how do I stay relevant? How do I stay employed?
I would say at the most basic level, if let's say you got a career assignment to another country, even if your work doesn't require you to speak the local language, you know that there is value in acquiring the capability to do so. And you would invest some time, either to learn from friends or to take a formal program. Think of AI like that. In the new landscape of work, you are going to use AI one way or the other. So it's good to take ownership of this challenge, to learn some basic AI knowledge and understanding and skills, if you can, at your own pace. But at the same time, I think there will also be a need for us to support, more formalized skills training that will better meet the requirements of businesses. So employers, for example, if they are implementing AI, will need people who have data science capabilities. They may also need engineers and technicians to keep their AI models well maintained. In testing, inspection and certification of AI models, there will certainly be new jobs that are being created. So I would say it's a combination of taking ownership to learn the new language of AI whilst you have the opportunity to do so at your own pace, and also to create opportunities for people to learn formalized skills that will enable them to take on jobs that will inevitably also be created as a result of increased AI adoption.
Yeah, and before I let you go, Minister, what are the next things that we can look forward to in the AI space here in Singapore?
I think the foundations have been quite nicely laid, or I should say relayed, because with generative AI, new requirements emerged. For example, having access to GPUs, making sure that the AI infrastructure and the engineering support is available. But beyond that, the momentum is very encouraging. It should motivate us to continue to expand the reach of AI to more businesses. So both in terms of breadth and depth, we'd like to be able to see more, and we will ensure that there is enough of the support to keep this going.
Yeah, appreciate all your insights today, and we have a whole conference still ahead of us. Thanks so much. Minister Josephine Teo there, Singapore's Minister for Digital Development and Information, and Minister in charge of Smart Nation and Cyber Security.